CONMEBOL round 11 is in the books, and we had quite a few entertaining matches and some surprise results that we're going to break down and give you guys a reaction to in this video. If you guys like videos about CONMEBOL, hit subscribe because we're going to be doing predictions and analysis and reactions to every single round of qualifying up until the 2026 World Cup. Drop a like in the video and let us know your biggest takeaway from match 11 down below in the comments. We got to start with the big one. Paraguay 2, Argentina 1 in the Chaco, bro. I'm just saying, dude, Paraguay at home, I don't know how many points they drop in the rest of the cycle. I thought it was a phenomenal game overall. Sanabria, Chilena goal. This was a banger. How did you feel about it?
Well, Jack, I felt really great. I'm really happy with the result. I felt like shit. What do I say to that?
Put respect on Paraguay.
I've been had respect on Paraguay.
I've been
had respect on Paraguay. No. You're trying to force some problematic dialogues here, and I won't stand for it.
Maybe that's something left over from Milei's last address to the public. But anyways.
It is. You saw him dancing to YMCA at that wedding, and you said, we're closing the borders.
15% tariff increase on Paraguayan empanadas or something. I don't know what Paraguay produces, but...
Well, they produce banging football is what they do right now, especially at home. I mean, dude, I really don't want to jump. My major takeaway from this window, I'll give it the very end, but I really don't want to give it away now, but it is just, it's so good. I'll put it this way. I was frustrated because I thought that Argentina was going to come back and we weren't going to change anything, right? I was very much relying on Nico Gonzalez being a part of this, and I don't think his omission is the only reason that Argentina didn't perform here. I think credit has to be given to Paraguay, so that's me putting respect on their name. Very competent team.
Thank you for that.
You're not Paraguayan. That's for the Paraguayans to give. As much as you want to dye your hair and look like Enciso.
Well, I did look like Enciso.
Don't think I didn't notice that you didn't put the gel in. Your hair ain't flying today. You saw Enciso and you said, we wetting it down today.
No, I've moved on to the John Wick look. That's what I'm going for next.
The John Wick. You mean the Tarzan special? Yeah, you got to wait for the blonde to get out. You look like pop punk, cyberpunk John Wick. Anyway, Argentina wasted a lot of chances up the middle. I really don't know that this Alvarez-Lautaro striking duo with Messi as the false nine is going to pan out. The amount of times that I saw the Paraguayans just congesting the middle and us trying to do the little tiki-taka through the middle, it was just very concerning. Now, there were a couple times where the ball was flicked on due to some accidents and individual brilliance, but we just can't rely on that because we've already seen what it looks like. And Argentina post Di Maria seems to be struggling. And I mean struggling for our standards. We've taken 4 points from the last 4 games. The worst that we've done since 2019 is lose 1 game a month. We'll have like 2 months back to back where we lose 1 game apiece in each window. That is the worst that we've done. We cannot allow this recent performance here to carry on because to take 2 losses, a win and a draw is unacceptable for us. And I think that comes from, especially in this game, Scaloni just experimenting too much with the lineup here. I said in the prediction video that if we kept our shape, we would go back to business as usual. I think we're switching things up. I think Guti Romero coming out had a little bit to do with it. But again, you got to give credit to the Paraguayans. Did you watch, and I know you didn't, but for our brain rot viewers out there, those of you that watched the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, it felt very much like this. Argentina was frazzled every time that Paraguay had an opportunity at the counterattack. It seemed like we really didn't know how to recover from that, and it's just not something that I'm used to seeing from this Argentina, right? We're defensively sound. That is, ironically enough, at least in my lifetime, it's ironic. Our defense is the thing that we lean back on. We're capable of scoring goals. They don't happen. Well, we don't score at like a 6-goal-a-game clip. We're capable of that, but against middling teams. The fact that we were not able to compose ourselves at the back, I think led to major problems here. And if you're not firing and you can't recuperate at the back, then I mean, of course this is going to happen. And credit to Paraguay because they took advantage of every opportunity. They kept us on the back foot, and whenever we were frazzled, they remained composed. They had a very good shape where the Argentines just felt like they were scrambling.
I just think under Alfaro, Paraguay, they've come back down a goal at home twice in a row against Venezuela and Argentina in games that were pretty close to must win. And they don't don't surrender good chances. I think Argentina had one shot on target, which is crazy. They have completely bought into the system. Confidence is obviously through the roof. Argentina already struggles with Paraguay, barely beat Paraguay. And I think the stars kind of aligned here for Alfaro to get his first win ever against Argentina. It's funny, we had a little bit of a watch party at the apartment for this game, and some of our friends were like, yeah, Alfaro, like, he's a great manager. He's Argentine. He always gets his teams to play well against Argentina, Brazil, teams like that. And I was like, actually, that's not totally true. He's never beat Argentina. He gets his teams to play very well against Brazil and Uruguay and Colombia, but he's never played well against Argentina. And this night, he got his first win in 5 chances against them. So I think it was big for Alfaro personally. Paraguay, this is the scariest team in CONMEBOL right now. You do not want to catch these guys at home. The Chaco's looking like automatic L for every single team that goes there. I don't have many thoughts for the Clásico Pacífico, which ended in a 0-0 between Peru and Chile in Lima. 13 shots for both teams. Both sides had some great chances to put it away. Both failed. Perfect embodiment, in my opinion, of where these two teams are. These are terrible teams, much like they both needed a win in the first game at the Copa America, and yet again, nobody's able to put the ball in the back of the net. I thought Guerrero, especially for Peru, was awful. He probably should have had a hat trick in this game and just fumbled horrendously. So yeah, these teams are done.
They hit the goalpost a couple of times, right?
I think Peru hit once, if I remember.
It was just messy. I did not get to watch this game all the way through. I had to go back and watch the highlights, and even that was a struggle. I will say, though, one of my very few predictions of the match day came true here. 4 yellow cards. And even then, that was what I set at the minimum. 4 yellow cards. I'm shocked we didn't get a red.
Well, you were correct in that this was actually a pretty entertaining game as well. It just was messy, like you said. But it was fun.
If you like CONMEBOL, if you like the dirty, gritty, messy games, you will enjoy that. That manifested here. This is exactly that. And I think I would have had more space for it if Argentina hadn't sold so hard. My bandwidth is pretty low right now.
I don't know. We're going to do our predictions for match 12 in a separate video, so hit subscribe for that. But I didn't have any major takeaways about either of these teams. I didn't really learn anything. Honestly, we were stupid for saying Peru were going to win this game. This was probably a 0-0, like cemented.
Are we wrong to give the home team the advantage? I'm going to read something off to you here, and this is probably the most interesting thing that we can say about this. Every single home team this window produced more shots on target than their visitors. Uruguay, Paraguay, Venezuela all conceded first, and on average were statistically worse, according to FODMOB, and they still came away with the win.
When you say statistically worse, you mean shooting worse?
I mean shooting, defending, everything. Just on average, the visitors were better on paper. They could not put the ball behind the net. So smart money's on Peru. The stats say that these teams should be good. Peru just couldn't finish, but we knew that. There's no takeaways here. It reassures our predictions. It just reinforces whatever opinions you already had about these teams. We're just perpetuating them at this point. So I don't have anything else to say here.
No, the biggest takeaway is that winning away in CONMEBOL is almost impossible. I don't know what the XG was in this Peru game, but it must have been 3. Guerrero was through one-on-one twice, scored neither time. Chile also had a 2 on the goalkeeper and failed to convert. Shambolic from both teams. And I think a draw at the end of the day is probably fair. But Peru, I'm pissed off because I had them winning 1-0 and they let me down. They let me down after the impressive win against Uruguay last window. So that's the last time.
What did we say? We said that Chile were going to give horrific individual mistakes. And for Peru to have one-on-one opportunities, not once but twice in a game, and to not be able to convert from that, that's just totally on Peru. You can't even give credit to either team. You have to criticize both.
Moving on to the next game, we had Venezuela 1, Brazil 1. We both called Brazil winning this game, and I'm also extremely pissed off that prediction was wrong. And of course, it's because of Vinicius Jr. missing a penalty. And I'm going to keep this short. This is yet another example to the people who said he was the runaway Ballon d'Or favorite that you guys have zero ball knowledge. For a guy to continuously be this awful for his national team, and for you to disrespect the rest of the players in the world by saying he's the hands down favorite is laughable. International football matters. He has been a massive failure for Brazil in his tenure so far, and Brazil probably should have won this game. They were so good in the first half. And in the second half, I don't know what happened, but Venezuela kind of turned up, and this match could have ended 4-4.
You can't let the home team get confident. You have to go there and you have to stake your claim. And I'm going to tell you right now, Brazil's issue is very much like Peru's. If you're not putting the goals away, you will drop points.
Different magnitude, but yeah.
Different magnitude, yes, definitely. I'm not saying that they're of the same caliber, but it's the same issue. You want to point at it, frankly, I mean, Brazil might be even more embarrassing for not converting here because they should have scored more goals. You're not going to convert a pen? Vinicius? Not going to convert a pen? We can't even call him Penicius.
No, he's not good enough.
He's not good enough. And I will say he had good moments in this game. There were a couple times and I was like, oh, okay, here's the life.
Rafinha was trash on that one shot from 8 yards out. He blasted it over the bar.
I will tell you right now, these Brazilians are, at least a lot of the big stars here, they get easily frazzled. The mentality is not where it needs to be. And that is something that if they fix, they will become a terrifying team. But I think that that is their major problem here. Because Vinicius, to be producing that initially, and then to become frustrated and to have Venezuela get into your head, I mean, it's typical CONMEBOL that the other team is going to get in your head and then take that opportunity and leave with a point. You've got to be mentally stronger than that. Vinicius, if you're going to lead this team in Neymar's absence, my man, you have got to be ready for that. Because no way that you produce 2 or 3 opportunities and then become silent the rest of the game. He should be furious with himself.
He should be. And also, like, he was instigating and fighting with every single Venezuelan player. This is the one issue I always have with the Vinny's the biggest victim ever storyline. It's just not true, is it? He starts it. He fought with every Venezuelan who was there, including the fans. And so I'm just not having this, like, oh, woe is him type stuff. I'm just not.
That's like De Paul playing the victim. You can't. If you're going to do that, listen, I'm all here for some shithousery. I'm here for it.
And you know what else needs to be said is that defensively, Brazil just let Venezuela run. Like, they gave them way too much space. There was no midfield from Brazil in this game. It was just end to end. Guimaraes, Howler. It was entertaining. I cannot believe it was 1-1. Like, we did not deserve a 1-1 scoreline in this game.
What do you think about Segovia's goal? You thought it was okay?
Yeah, it's a good goal. It's not Sanabria.
I thought it was better than the Chilena.
Hell no. That's the craziest thing you've said in this video.
Top bins, baby.
It wasn't
top
even
bins,
that top bins.
Smacked it from outside. Yeah.
Very average goal, in my opinion.
So was Vincent Kompany's. Yeah.
Those are not even close to the same level.
Well, I felt the same way watching both of them.
We'll let the comments decide.
My Argentinos, I need you pulling for me.
Who had Ecuador being the top goal-scoring team of this round?
Literally not a damn person. Martin, maybe. Shout out to Ecuador heroes.
He's paid by the FA to gas them up, so he probably did have 4-0. Am I hating if I say that I don't think this is a big deal? I just think Bolivia are that bad.
No, you're not hating. I mean, every single prediction, every single outlet, including ourselves, said that Bolivia doesn't care about this game. The way that they do well is they go home. They go home and they play well there. This was not the game. They did not want this. I mean, the worst thing is that they give Ecuador a bigger goal differential. They don't care about that. They're ready to go home and take 3 points. 3 points this window is a win for Bolivia.
They're just going to try to pick up 3 every time at home, and that's going to be the strategy here. Dude, you know what's insane? 29 shots for Ecuador, 1 for Bolivia. I mean, how are you going to let Ecuador shoot 30 times on you? I mean, they did have 10 men, but still, it was terrible.
I believe it. I didn't expect anything else.
No, I didn't expect 4. And it probably wouldn't have been 4 if the red card didn't happen. But I think on the bright side for Ecuador, they scored 4 without Caicedo, which was big. And I liked that Becasese actually did something a little different in this game by starting Alan Minda and Jean Yaboa out wide. And he kind of had Gonzalo Plata like a little bit centrally, who got 2 goals, by the way. Redemption arc for Plata, although it's against Bolivia, so let's not get carried away here. That's what I like from Ecuador. A little bit of change resulted in a little bit more offense, but it's Bolivia. I mean, it just ain't nothing to get too excited about.
No, it's not. And I don't think it's anything to spend any more time on. Kudos to Ecuador.
Kudos to Ecuador. Uruguay, 3-2 victory against Colombia in Montevideo. What you got?
Match the window here. Now, this is a howler for me. I thought Colombia was going to come through and just run rampant all over these guys, but there's still apparently some life and there's some hope left for Uruguay. And it is not a small amount of hope. I mean, they ran through these guys like the Army of the Damned ran through the host from Mount Doom in Return of the King.
You're saying Uruguay ran through them?
Offensively, Uruguay. It was still a feat, right? Colombia still had 2 goals. They looked pretty decent. They also looked shaken. I will say they retained their shape significantly better than Argentina. I don't think they have nearly as many problems, but I don't think that they expected Uruguay to come through like this. I think they showed up and they said, we are Colombia. We know what we're capable of. This is going to be business as usual. And Uruguay had different plans. Rochette was blinded by the wall, but dude, that was a terrible dive on that free kick. But frankly, better goal goalkeeping there, they leave here 3-1.
See, I disagree. I think Uruguay had almost nothing until Davinson Sanchez scored a terrible own goal. And then Uruguay kind of pounced. And at that point, the own goal happened, and I was thinking immediately, like, this is really bad. Uruguay are going to come out swinging right now. And they did. And they really put Colombia on the back foot. But I think if that own goal doesn't happen, maybe Uruguay would have gotten one, and it would have been a 1-1 draw. I kind of feel like the scoreline flattered them, the 3-2. I'm going to be honest. Maybe I'm hating. I'm also just sick of Uruguay. I think a 2-2 was probably fair in this match. Neither side, to me, really deserved to win. I think we saw the best of Colombia and the worst of Colombia in the same game. And I think we saw the best of Uruguay and not the worst of Uruguay.
Not the worst of Uruguay?
I don't really think we saw, maybe we saw the worst of Rochette on the goalkeeping.
It's the way that they set themselves up there. It's like, we're not going to respect this. You got to cover all avenues to me. That was just a lack of respect for the Colombians.
In what sense?
In a sense that you need to set up better. You need to have better communication. Be prepared for every single avenue there. That was embarrassing to me. I was like, you should have saved that.
I just think that's an individual error, though. I don't think that's like Uruguay disrespecting Colombia. I just think it's kind of shite goalkeeping. It's not like Bielsa was like, don't worry about them on set pieces.
No, if anything, you need to be more prepared for them on set pieces. But I just don't think that they were firing there until, like you said, they get that own goal and they feel a spark of life. But I'm going to say the same thing for Uruguay that I said for Brazil. You've got to be mentally stronger than that. I don't care what the last results are. You can't decide in the middle of a game that you're going to start playing because they get an own goal. You've got to produce something before then.
Well, I think Colombia kind of collapsed.
I think you can also say that Uruguay, we saw the very best at them at the very end. Both of their open play goals that they had, or both of their goals at the very end, came from the late man running into the box off of a little bit of decent passing and a little bit of decent skill. Perfect. That is Uruguay. Do that then. Little bit of passing, pass it out to the late man running into the box, blast that bad boy into the back of the net. That is what Uruguay should be doing. Get Darwin to draw a man out, give yourself a little bit of space, boom. You should be scoring like that. That should be Valverde's job. That should be his entire job. I think that they can produce more of that. I just don't think that they're there mentally, and that is a disservice to themselves, and it's a lack of respect towards their opposition there. Because I think the game at the beginning should have looked as it did at the end. You should have come out firing immediately.
I guess I hear what you're saying, but Colombia were good in the first half. They did most of their damage in the first half. So I don't think it was more like Uruguay disrespected them. I just think Colombia are a better team. And then they got really disheartened by pretty much controlling the match away. And then just, I mean, it was a gift wrapped goal. And then defending on the Ugarte final shot. I mean, you got to defend for 20 seconds. And Mojica just doesn't clear the ball. Yeah, there's a little bit of a push, but it probably wasn't enough for a foul. You got to be strong. But Palestri's pushing you. Palestri weighs $120. Like, you got to be stronger than that. Clear the ball, and you get out of here with a 2-2. And I think that would have been fair. I'm just going to say, to conclude my thoughts here, is that Colombia threw 5 games away, 1 win, 2 draws, now 2 losses away from home. 2 consecutive losses now away from home. And their form overall is worse than I thought. And I don't know if it's a bit of the Copa hangover, or if it's just CONMEBOL being CONMEBOL, or Uruguay being extremely talented and playing below their potential for a while now. Their first win in 5. But Colombia, they're just looking a bit soft right now. Not what I expected to see.
I can get behind that. I think all those things can be true. I do think we see a Colombia return to form here, but I'll save that for the predictions.
All right, guys, and we're going to film the predictions right after this. If you enjoyed this video, drop the video a like. Let us know your biggest takeaway from 11 down below in the comments. We appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see y'all in that video.